And we are live. My glasses are crooked. Okay, now we're live. No. Now we're live. Welcome, and first things first. Can you see and hear me? If you're new to this, chat in the little area, box area there. That's where you put your questions in, and then I hopefully answer them effectively, and that's what we do. So I'll wait till make sure you can see and hear me before I go any further. Can you see and hear me? Can you see and hear me? I'm gonna wait till I see something. Maybe you stepped away. Can you see and hear me? I wonder what this is. If you're there, can you see and hear me? Let me know. Can you see and hear me? Are there technical issues? What is going on here? I don't see any problems. Maybe somebody is logged in but not actually here because they got up to get themselves a cup of coffee. That could happen. I will hang. There we go. Frozen live stream offline. Okay. I suggest you log out and log back in. Yeah. And I will hang here, Kat, no worries. Working now. Cool. All right, good. Glad you're here. And let's rock and roll. There was at least one other person signed up for this now, so maybe they'll jump in. Let's hope so. And in the meantime, fire away any questions you got. Kat, if I could be mistaken, but you're kind of toward the end of the program. Is that correct? Like you're almost done? Got day already. Oh my gosh, my very last day. So I'm most here to say thanks. The program's working well for me. Oh man, the very last day. Jiminy. Toronto Cat is going to be, by the way, forever your name for the rest of your life, probably. Toronto Cat. Day 84. Well, I'm glad that it's working well. So let's take a few moments, which I think we've tackled in another live Q&A, but let's take a few moments to talk about what Toronto Cat's life is going to be like on day 85. One of the biggest hitches, as excited as we might get about any program we do, is that the day after the program ends, sometimes we're sort of like, well, now what do I do? Hopefully I've minimized that because that was the last thing I wanted people to wonder about, because I even tackled it in the program itself. Again, this is not a program where people try to lose weight or get six-pack abs. It's a program to teach you exactly what to do after day 85. But here's day 84. But here's what I will definitely, health issues that have set me back, but I'm seen to be managing at least 2 steps right now. Okay, you're in it big time. That is, I'm going to post that. Had a few health issues that have set me back a little, that I seem to be managing at least 2 steps right now. So what I said, that's the name of the game. I mean, that is the name of the game, which is no matter what comes up, because once these health issues are resolved, something else is going to come down the pike at some point. It may be major, maybe a little bit minor, whatever is enough to throw us off our game. And in this case, the game being us being engaged in our lives and making decisions that are in line with who we are and all these kinds of things, engaged attention. Well, these little things come up or big things come up and they take us out of the game. And all of a sudden we're distracted and then we're less engaged in the particulars of our lives. And so the small stepper never lets it go all the way out. The small stepper adjusts the steps list down like you're doing to managing. And I love the word managing because that's really what you're doing here. You're managing your own life. I am managing my life. Somebody who is not managing their lives are getting bounced around, or they think they're a victim of everything and nothing. I have no control. It just happens to me and everything sucks and I got nothing. Somebody who's managing their lives is actually looking at it and saying, okay, well, I'm managing this area over here and this area over here, like a manager of a department in a company can't do every project all at once. Things come up. And so you have to put the long-term projects on hold for a minute while you're dealing with this fire that you got to put out. And so then you sort of direct the crew to like, okay, let's deal with this. And then when this is sort of settled, we'll get back to the bigger projects that we're working on. And you got to kind of, and then it's like, if there's always short-term stuff, always fires to be put out, that's a sort of a big picture structural problem that is going to prohibit the whole company from moving forward. It's actually a pretty accurate analogy. And so if the company is in such disarray that it's just all about drama and all about putting out fires, guess what happens? Nothing happens. It's just fire putting out. That's the deal. It doesn't grow. It doesn't expand. There's nothing creative about it really, except maybe in the way you put out fires. But in our own lives, if it's just one drama, one thing after another, and it's in a way there's going to be those things, but if we're putting all of our attention to those things, then we never actually get to grow. And I'm sorry, I know, right? Me too. We never get to grow in our own lives. And so by staying in the game, even 2 steps that are on your list is, to me, because I understand this process, I understand what we're all going through, massive. Most people may say, oh, only 2 steps. That's huge, because most people are doing 0 steps when something comes up. They put everything on hold. And sometimes, ironically, they're putting everything on hold to do a diet or do something that seems like they're improving their lives, but it's just a distraction for a short period of time before they have to deal with whatever they're trying not to deal with. Sorry, that's just a fact, in my opinion. A fact, in my opinion. I think it's a fact. People can disagree with it, but I think it's a fact. So the trick is, how can you be distracted less? I guess that's the name of the game here. And you can be distracted less by things like health issues, which are all valid. They happen. They're actual real things. But you say, I'm going to do these things. And then you sort of bring back other steps, as I think we talked about on another live Q&A, bring back other steps and start rebuilding when you feel it's appropriate. How you know when you feel it's appropriate? When you feel like you're languishing, when you feel like you're not doing enough, when you have that feeling of like, man, I was doing so much before and now it's kind of like, I'm not really doing, I feel like I've fallen off the way. You start hearing that. Now you're more aware of those kinds of thinking. And then you go, oh, I think it's time for me to bounce this thing back in, and understand that you can just simply increase one of the 2 steps ever so incrementally. So if one of the 2 steps is 1 deep breath per day, you go to 2 deep breaths per day. Again, it's a level of engagement and a level of continuing movement. Not every week necessarily. Some weeks you'll just keep the steps list as is, but sometimes even the smallest incremental thing is like, it is actual forward momentum that's keeping you engaged and keeping you knowing that you're moving forward. And that's kind of like the biggest part of the picture, right? Is what you know you're doing, what you know you're acting on, what you know you're taking into consideration, what you know you're taking control over. That's how you keep the movement forward. So going forward, Kat, I think we talked about this already, but now you're going to have a lot more time on your hands. You're just going to have a lot more time in your hands, just factually. Why? No live Q&As, no daily emails, no weekly videos. Gone. I'm assuming that you read the daily emails, and I'm assuming you watched the weekly videos, and I know you came to a fair amount of these live Q&As. Well, now you have free time. How you use that is up to you. Okay, let me see. Oh, I have bad news to deliver to you. Will I still be able to look at back episodes of Small Steppers Q&As on the site, or will I be locked out? You will be locked out. I hate to say this, and it's absolutely true. This is a hard decision I had to make when I crafted this program. I had to remember, and even though it wasn't the most popular position, my entire goal with this program was to set people free after 12 weeks. Trust me when I tell you, Kat, and even if you haven't done it all yet, it seems like you've done the work. If you've done the work, you do not need me. You do not need old Q&As. You do not need the videos for the most part. Here's the exception. A year from now, your life changes in a huge way. You kind of stop the small steps approach, and maybe you go, I don't really need it. And then 6 months later, you realize, wow, I'm not like when I was doing the small steps thing, I was getting this stuff done. And now I'm kind of not doing anything. I thought I didn't need it, but I kind of do. I need a refresher. Well, then I did stay. Then that's when I crafted the Stay in the Game program, which is 1 month at a time. No, you're not locked in. You jump in for a month. Then you have access to everything. You can reread all the emails. You can look at all the videos all at once. They're not like dripped out every week. You go into your member page and it's all accessible. You can watch whatever you want and then get out again. Nobody has signed up for that yet. Nobody, which is fine. I just want it as an option. I don't want people feeling like, oh, now I got to sign up for the stupid program whole thing again. I've already done it once. If you've already been through it, you can 5 years from now email support@smallsteppers.com and go, hey, I want to jump back in for a month and jump back out. And you could do that. And so that's an option. But my goal with this program was to cut people off at 12 weeks. I did not want, I've gotten a lot of members saying, you know, it's going to take me longer than 12 weeks. And I'm like, why? It should never take you longer than 12 weeks because everybody's got 10 minutes a week to watch a video. Even if you don't watch it all at once, you can watch it 1.5 minutes per day. Everybody has 30 seconds to read an email. The message of this program is training you to use the time you actually have and that everybody has. Everybody has time. It's just that we think we don't because we're on technology or we're watching a TV show or we're looking at the news on our phone. The message of this is you learn these moments because if I say, oh, it's open-ended, you can take as much time as you need on the program, guess what? Most people would not finish the program. If I say, day 85, man, go live your life now. That's the whole point is not to, you know, stay with the program or be able to watch you don't need any of the stuff. You've got it. You've got all of it. Deleted my Facebook profile. Awesome. So you're right on the money, Kat. You're right on the money. You don't need this program. I think people need I deactivated my Twitter account 8 months ago. I don't even know when. Haven't missed it. Not for a second. I do not post on Facebook. I have an assistant who will post stuff for me sometimes on Instagram. I'll do an Instagram post now and then. And I think it maybe goes automatically to Facebook. I don't know. I literally don't check the page. It was talk about a distraction from actual work. I launched a new podcast recently, and I attribute that to the fact, this is the fancy microphone. I attribute that to the fact that I just stopped doing that stuff. It was just not part of, it's not creative. It's not work. It's not, if it's for fun, then I want to do it for fun, like other things. Thank you. Anyway, so it's getting these ducks in a row. Back to you. You have the tools, you have the knowledge. Whether you continue it or not is up to you. Obviously, I think it's helpful. Why would I do this anyway? I think that at least in the very least, play with this for the next month or two. You may not need it forever, but play with it because you've got to experience what it's like to be a small stepper independent of the program. That's key. Otherwise, and I'm asking you to just do a sort of a favor so that I don't feel like a failure, because if somebody goes to the 12 weeks and just stops and never does it, it means that something about the program potentially wasn't effective. And I really think it is. And I try to hit all those points in the videos like, okay, in the next few weeks, you really got to focus because you don't have the program to you don't have that automatic email coming in your inbox that reminds you, oh, I'm in this program. So that's the deal. So notes, leaving notes, having that physical steps list. You know, I don't know if you were in the last where I dealt with this, but I'm all about the paper physical steps list now. Paper, notes on your mirror, notes in a note on your steering wheel, another copy of your steps list in your car or somewhere on your coffee maker, wherever you go automatically. It's very crucial in the next few weeks. Set alarms on your phone. I don't necessarily like the list on the phone, but set an alarm on your phone that goes off you wake up at 7, your alarm goes off. One alarm wakes you up. The other alarm at 7:10 says, look at your steps list. And it goes on there. It's whatever it takes to stay engaged forever. You may not need this program forever to stay engaged in your life, but whatever it takes to stay engaged in your life is going to be what delivers you the life you want to live for the most part. It is staying engaged. Again, you can't you can't go with blinders on. You can't go on autopilot. It doesn't happen. People do it, but it doesn't deliver a happy life. So, or a healthy life. I mean, think about how much attention we have to pay if we choose to eat good diet, how much attention that takes. And fine, it just does. I mean, understand that, but it takes attention. Think how much attention it takes to go for a run. It takes attention and actual effort. It's so much easier. We don't have to run. We don't have to move. So we do these things that we don't have to do. We don't have to eat healthy anymore. We don't wander around the forest eating healthy food, animal or plant, no matter what, because that's all we got. Now we have to pay attention in our lives. That's what this program trains you to do, which is to be more attentive, more aware. That to me was the backdrop that now you can apply to changes you want to make in your diet, exercise or fitness pursuits that you might want to take on. Even if it's a DVD plan, you're now a small stepper doing the DVD plan. Now you're the small stepper who says, I'm in week 5 of this 10-week DVD plan, and I'm realizing like it's super stressful for me. It's not working for me. It's making me miserable, and I'm not actually feeling good healthily. Okay, I'm in control here. I'm going to back this down. Or I'm on a diet to learn how to eat healthy, but clearly I have a party tomorrow, and so I'm not going to like miss a party. And I just talked to somebody recently who was like, yeah, we did that once. We had to we missed social engagements because we were on a diet. A small stepper doesn't play that game because we know better, because we know it's about our lives, not about a stupid diet. That's a tool, and if it's not a tool that works for you, it's not a tool you're going to use. So this is sort of the small stepper is sort of the backdrop behind all of those things. So that's you going forward. Next few weeks, get that list physical and get it visible. Physical and visible. Don't rely on you having to get your phone and open your phone and look at your phone and open the list and then look at the habit. So you walk in the morning groggy, you look in the mirror and there's your steps list on your mirror. Yes. If you don't, even though you've done 12 weeks of this program, you will be surprised, or maybe not, how quickly your life will just come whoop, right back into place. And next thing you know, your 6 months go by and you're like, oh my, how did that happen? Because it does. And to me too. I mean, I have a step on my steps list, which is I worked on I decided about 7 years ago, that I was going to write a screenplay just because I've never done it before, not to try to make it. Just was like, I'm going to write, because I used to act. So I was like, I'm going to write a screenplay. So I got up to page 50 and then of course it stopped. There's your yo-yo diet. It's just like I got to that point and then just kind of fell off. So I have a new step on my list as of about 3 weeks ago that is 5 minutes a week of this screenplay. Well, I've only done it once in the last 3 weeks, 1 5 minute. So I either need to lower that step or do something like set an alarm or something. I also have a journaling step, which has been way better. And I have a music step, which has been no problem. Something about this screenplay. Now, I say something about this screenplay as if I don't know what it is. And I know exactly what it is because I'm a small stepper and I'm aware of my own thought patterns, which is I have a certain, even though it's only 5 minutes, I have a certain sort of, I know it's hard for me to write it. I don't know where the story is going to go. So I know that when I open it, I don't know what to do. And so that's kind of what's stopping me. So a small stepper says, then don't write. Just open it up, look at it for 5 minutes, engage with it for 5 minutes. That I know. It doesn't make it less hard, but I asked myself that yesterday. I was like, what is stopping me here? Is it the size of the step? Is it that I keep forgetting and that it's not accessible for me? No, because it's on my laptop, on my desktop. No, it is that, well, if I open it, what the hell am I going to do? What the hell I'm going to do is open it, look at it, think about it for 5 minutes. That's more than I would have done otherwise. In fact, more than I have done the last 3 weeks. I've done that step one time. It's like, maybe it's been 4 weeks, one time. So my goal today is 5 minutes, getting on that thing. If I write a line, great. If I don't, I'm just going to look at them or reread some things and see if any ideas come to me. If they don't, that'll be the step, and that's how that goes. So writing is tough, hardest small step when you want to write something substantial. That's right. And yet, if I don't have the step, I write nothing. And that's always that sort of childlike thing for all of us. Like, but it doesn't do anything. It's like, yeah, but I'm not doing anything. Like nothing. I mean, I have written this screenplay. Well, one time I did it on an airplane going out to, I can't remember where I was flying last month or something. And it wasn't part of my step yet, but I did open it and write. And so that was cool. Then I actually did one of my steps. The fact of the matter is that's more writing on this screenplay than I've done in the last 6 years. In the last month and a half, I've done more writing on this screenplay than in the last over 6 years. So we can sort of go back and forth, as you know, and say, yeah, but it doesn't do anything. I'm like, yeah, but so does never opening it again. You don't know what's going to happen. You really don't, unless you actually engage. If the 5 minutes opens and nothing happens, fine. If the 5 minute I open it and I get an idea, now all of a sudden I got something to work with. And maybe it's that time that I do that, I sit down for more than 5 minutes and actually get some lines done. So I don't know what's going to happen, except here's what I know exactly. Here's how I know. Here's one scenario I know exactly what's going to happen. That is, if I don't open the thing, I will never write the screenplay. That's the only for sure that I know. The rest of it is unknown. And that's frightening for people. The unknown, that's death. It's the ultimate, I don't know what's going to happen. That freaks us out. Well, a small stepper, that turns into an adventure. For a small stepper, that goes, I don't know what's going to happen. It's exciting. I don't know what's going to happen. And it's a practice of just engaging with that mindset to say, I'm going to open my screenplay. I don't know what's going to happen. This is kind of cool. Maybe nothing, maybe something next time, maybe nothing the next time after that. I don't know. The only for sure is if I don't open the screenplay, nothing happens. And I feel crappy about myself because I didn't finish something that I wanted to finish. Whoa, those are for sure. I'll take the not knowing and not finishing it as fast as if I willpower through it. I'll take that scenario over feeling like a failure because I never opened the damn thing. Yup, I've been trying to get back into photography, trying to scout with my camera. Even if I don't see anything, at least it's with me. I had a client one time in Paris, of all places. And she was a photographer too, and so her small step was 1 picture per day. 1 picture per day, even if it sucked. Literally, just 1 picture per day on her list, even if it was her sitting in her chair, opening her camera and just taking a picture of nothing, of a wall. It was the act of, I am now part of this camera and this camera's part of me, and I'm a freaking photographer, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a picture every single day. And lo and behold, once the engagement happens, then every now and then it would be a shot that she'd like. And it was just like, you got to work. You can't be a photographer. I lived in LA for 20 years, full of, I'm a screenwriter who's never written a screenplay, full of, I'm an actor who doesn't do anything. I mean, if you're an actor, act. Don't wait to get hired by a production. Put on your camera and do a scene and post it to YouTube. This is the best time because anybody can work. Work on it. Put yourself out there. Don't call yourself an actor. Don't tell anybody you're an actor. Don't tell anybody you're a writer. Start writing. And this is a really exciting time to do that because we have the ability to work. I can put out a podcast because I want to do it. And I got it out there. And whether somebody listens to it or not is sort of like a secondary. People do. That's a bonus. But I didn't have to go like, well, let me see if I can get all these people with a mailing list and try to get them engaged. Then I'll launch it. No, I'll launch it. I've done nothing. I posted on Instagram. That's it. I've done like no promotion at all. If it floats, it floats. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If I dig the process, I'll keep doing it. If I stop digging it, I'll shut it down like the other one. You're a little gutsier than I am. Well, I'll tell you what, it's all degrees for sure. So yes, I don't know if I'm gutsier than you, but yes, my ability to put things out into the world with less care in terms of what the feedback has grown for sure. 30 years ago or 20 years ago when I was playing music, different ball game. I still pretty good, in terms of like, I would still do the music that was important to me, but I worried definitely a little bit more than I do now. But you don't even have to do that now, Kat. It's sometimes it's the internal. We don't want to write because we're afraid that we are going to not like it, that it's going to suck to us. And one thing that the Small Steps program does, or at least being a small stepper and behaving this way, is getting used to, and I talked about this a lot in the other podcast that I used to do, which was do something intentionally bad. I mean, just take a bad photo, write a bad poem on purpose, just on purpose, just to be intentional about it. I'm going to draw a crappy picture just to get okay with not everything is, again, it's this perfectionist thing that kills every one of us that it has to be good or I'm not going to do it. And then we just don't do it because it's never going to be perfect in our minds, all this kind of crazy stuff. I met so many people who are like, I tried to do yoga, but I was no good at it. It's like, no good at yoga. That's kind of it's a practice. There's not a good at yoga. Everyone's in their different degrees, and that's what that is. You start it and you continue it. You never end it. That's what you do. And so same thing with photography or any pursuit. Honestly, it's like once you can get more familiar with more comfortable rather with getting the the judgment out of it, the good, or is this good? Is this bad? I shouldn't do. And by the way, I'm speaking from my own experience with this screenplay, which is I'm battling with that in my own head, because part of the thing is I don't know where to go with it. And so it's sort of like, and I don't know if it's going to be good. Those things come up. How I get around that is just put that step on the table, man, and just open it. And if I don't produce, I'm still engaging in it. And here's the other last thing I'll say about that. When you have a step, like I'll use my screenplay already, even if I haven't over the last 3 weeks opened the thing, I have thought about the screenplay. That is for sure, because it's on my list. I've actually thought about it. I have in my car been considering it and thinking about the story and where it might go. And I haven't landed on anything, but that's a step in and of itself if you think about it. And we don't give ourselves credit for that thing. But if you set a step, even if I'm not picking up that 5 minutes per day, I've spent time on the screenplay. So maybe I should give myself credit for I actually have done the steps. I just haven't actually opened the thing and typed, but I've thought about it because it's on my radar. That goes for everything that we do, food and exercise included. Get it on your radar. You do that by putting it on your steps list. So maybe it's time, Kat, or getting closer with writing, with photography. Set just a crazily small step that isn't super married to quality. If you say I'm going to take one quick shot per day, then your expectation of that isn't going to be that it's, Annie Leibovitz every time. It's going to be a shot every day, but you're going to, all of a sudden it's in your framework. And now you're thinking about photography. Maybe you're starting to carry your camera with you in the car all of a sudden because you're looking for stuff, or at least it's in your awareness. Then you kind of look out and you go, wait, that actually is a good shot. And you pull over and take a good shot. So yeah, that's what this program's been great at, putting these things on the radar. That's what this is. You get it on your radar, lo and behold, it shapes the things that you're aware of in the world. It shapes the things that you're focusing on, and that's how we live the good life, man. It's how cool. Even if I'm not actually doing the steps, I'm still thinking about doing them. Exactly. The more that builds, and this is your Kat. The thing is, like, you're 12 weeks into the program, but you actually haven't started living as a small stepper. So this is the beginning. Like, the fact that you have 2 steps on your list is phenomenal, because that was never an expectation for me as a small steps coach, that you actually were. It was more like, just put anything on there because you got to learn how, I want you to learn how to sort of manage a steps list, but it really wasn't about the steps. So try, as a way to take the weight off your shoulders, to realize that tomorrow is the first day that you're actually living your life as a small stepper. This is beginning. You can crumble up that small steps list, of chuck it and start right from scratch. You can chuck your first task that you did and rewrite it and start from scratch. You're not married to anything because you did this 12 weeks. All you did was learn the system so that now you know how to actually live at it. So you might want to start from scratch or build. And again, because you're now more familiar with perfection and what failure is, you can go big on some steps if you want. Just like do a huge one if you feel like, I'm going to start running 3 miles a day. And then 3 to 4 days later, you go, whoops, that was too big. Let me back that back down. No failure at all, because you understand that, because you did the work of, oh, okay, let me get this straight. What am I really trying to do? I'm trying to exercise. I don't really give a crap about the 3 miles. I'm trying to exercise. So let me just throw out a step. And if it's too big, I'll back it back down. Why? Because I'm being successful in my own life, because I'm knowing how to take care of myself and actually get work done. And so that's how you do. But tomorrow's day one in a way. It's like going to medical school and you're not a doctor until you're done. You learned all this stuff for 4 years. You know how to be a doctor, but you're not a doctor until you're a doctor. Then you are beginning to be a doctor. That's how you are. You're a small stepper starting tomorrow, because you're done with the training and now you can be a small stepper. And so pretty cool. All right. Any questions? And by the way, Kat, you've noticed sometimes I'll invite old members, not old, we're not old. I'm just saying past members into the Q&As. So probably next month, which would be good for you. So if you get that email, it's for real. It's not like, oops, send it to me by mistake. No, it'll say like, past and present members, jump on here. And so I'm just offering that for free, just to kind of, because my success with this program is long-term as well. I'm successful in this program if people a year from now or 2 years from now or 5 years from now are still doing the work of small stepping and thinking about things and acting in ways that they never acted before, and actually doing things that they love instead of not doing them for whatever reason. And so that's how that rolls. And so, yeah, if I like to check in with members who took it last year. This has been about a year old now, and are still doing it, and struggling with it, because that's called life. We struggle with life and go like, yeah, I'm having a really hard time. Yes, so am I. We all are. But it's a different thing of having a hard time and not doing anything and feeling that also, versus having a hard time but keeping the fight on, which is what you're doing in the midst of these health issues. You still got 2 steps on your list. That's you fighting. That's you going, yeah, I'm taking this to the mat forever. No matter in what capacity, I'm taking it to the mat forever. I'm not giving up. I'm not sitting back and going, well, I have these health issues, so forget it. You're going, okay, because of these health issues, here's what I'm going to do. That's a very, very different quality of life. Extremely different quality of life. Anyway, all right. Well, the second person who signed up did not arrive. So sorry for them, honestly. But if let me know if you have any questions before we shut this down. Anything going on? Yeah, I mean, really. And look at the t-shirt I'm wearing. Did you see? Taylor Swift Reputation Tour. My daughter goes, when are you going to wear your Taylor Swift shirt? I thought, today. I'm wearing it today. Do you guys have Taylor Swift up in Canada? Maybe you don't. I'm teasing. Okay, so any other questions that you might have for me? I'll wait. Woo, Taylor Act. Yes, we do. Tickster. Yeah, tell me about it. I did it for my daughter and me. I mean, for her. But man, they were insane. It's insane. And her target audience are like 14-year-old girls. I'm like, you're gonna stick it to them for that much money for a ticket, or worse yet, stick it to the parents of these young girls who make up 85% of your audience. And it's like, geez Louise, because the parents got to take them. I'm not letting my 13-year-old go to a concert by herself. So it's 2 tickets, like over $300 a ticket for not good seats. Like, this is insane. Meanwhile, I'm taking my son to the Pixies. He doesn't know it yet. $13 a ticket. That's what I'm talking about for a way better band. Anyway, okay. Any final thoughts or questions, Toronto Cat? I'm waiting. No, I'm just kidding. No pressure, but yes, I'm waiting. Pigs are excellent. No other questions. Just thanks. But I'll see you at the podcast. Okay, cool. And watch out for your emails, because there will be something in the next month, maybe 2 months, maybe, to invite old members. So awesome work. Email me, support at smallsteppers.com. If something comes up in the next few weeks, do it. And if you come to Mendo, definitely shoot me an email and we can say hi. All right. Thank you very much. Good luck. Be a little extra attentive in the next few weeks. That's the crunch time. Without all this stuff, be a little extra attentive. And if I'm in Toronto, definitely I told you, I'm trying to do the Toronto Veg Fest. They don't want me. I don't know why. Who wouldn't want me to come up there? I don't know what the problem is, but they've seemed resistant. I'll put it that way. All right. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and keep small stepping. Keep small stepping. Veg Fest in September. I know I told you I've applied 3 times. They're just being frustrating. Yeah, do. Put a word in. Tell them to get going. All right, Kat, thanks. Have a great weekend and good luck in the next few, especially in the next few weeks. It's crunch time. It's crunch time. Okay. Bye.